Coming up, the Parsons Police Department reports another dog killed, the third one in less than a year.
Might be a windy Wednesday, but as long as it works in from the south, at least it'll bring us above average temperatures. A little bit of a warm front from the Skywatch Weather Center.
And the Kansas Technology Center trains some of the best automotive technology students in the world. And this year, they've got one going to a global competition.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It is 5 a.m. I'm Tanya Bach. We'll get to those stories in just a moment, but first, let's go to Michael Hayslip.
Let's get up into the mid-50s in earnest and ride that out for the next 3 days. What do you say?
Let's take it.
It's going to be absolutely great. Tanya, this is amazing this early in the morning. Take a look at these wide variety of temperatures. We are here, there, and a little bit of everywhere. So 31, very top of your screen up there, 31 in Iola. And then look at 45 in Joplin. We got a 14-degree difference, and it's kind of spotty and patchy, if you will. Now we've got Neodesha that actually dropped down to 29. Now the majority of our communities above the freezing mark on this Wednesday morning. And tell you what, if we're already going to talk about high 30s, low 40s for the most part, we are trending in the right direction. Jet stream really beginning to flatten out. Almost got a cutoff on the left-hand side of your screen over the west coast right there. And as long as our wind comes in from the south-southwest, which is exactly what it will do today, it's actually going to have a nice little warming effect on us. Still got that high pressure over most of the Midwest, so nothing shows up on us for the Skywatch Storm Tracker, whether it be clouds or precipitation. And another dry day. That humidity is going to drop down to about 25-30%. You know, I was thinking about it. I brought it up earlier this week, but might be nice to reiterate it. If you got a humidifier, this may be the best week ever to pop that thing off, because if you still got your furnace running overnight right there and as dry as our afternoons have been, might be good for the old kiddos and the sinuses to kind of put a little moisture up in that air. 7-day forecast, still looking at that rain coming in on Friday night with a little bit of a cold front, but really Wednesday and Thursday, sunny skies, a little breezy and way above average temperatures. Friday afternoon still not looking too bad at all either if we're going to top out around 50 degrees.
You can't beat these temperatures in the 50s.
The wind hasn't been overpowering. Yesterday evening was great when the wind died down a little bit.
Yeah.
Still had a little bit of warmth left in the air. Yeah, it was nice.
Looking forward to today. All right, thanks, Michael. Police in Parsons, Kansas say another dog has been killed, the city's third in less than a year. Officers say this dog, named Draco, was found on December 29th, wrapped in a blanket by a small bridge near Felix and 7th Streets. A veterinarian who examined Draco says there was severe trauma to the dog's abdomen and around the neck from a choke chain that was on it, indicating that a human did it. This is the third dog in Parsons to be killed and the fourth to be attacked. Police say a dog named Blue was shot and killed, and another named Zeus was shot but survived. Then on December 3rd, the dog of a Parsons police officer, Ranger, was found brutally killed. $34,000 reward is being offered in that case. However, authorities say no leads have come out of it, which makes them think it is the work of a lone suspect. Parsons police are encouraging all dog owners in the city to keep an eye on their pets while they are outside. Joplin police released new details in the shooting death of a teenager. Todd Mays is in custody, charged with the first-degree murder of his 17-year-old daughter. Jasper County coroner says the victim's name is Prayer Nicholson. However, friends and family knew her as Prayer Waddell. The shooting happened at a home on South Connor in Joplin. Police report indicates the suspect and victim got into a verbal argument on the upper floor, that the girl threw a glass bottle at Mays. They say Mays went downstairs, got a handgun, and then confronted his daughter on the staircase and shot her once in the abdomen. She died at the hospital. Pittsburgh School District is testing students who have come in contact with a COVID-positive person on campus. But not all parents say it's worth the time. The parking lot at Pittsburgh Middle School was lined with rows of cars, all with students needing to be tested for COVID-19. Now, kids who are tested at the school can either return home with a positive test or return to class with a negative.
I knew it was going to be an hour and a half plus, and I have 3 other kids to get ready for USD 250, so I was like, there is no way. So I decided today, called the nurse, we're going to ride out the next 3 days. I don't see how parents can come and stay in a line for 2 and 3 hours when they have to work. It just doesn't make sense.
The school district says their Test to Stay program is optional for families. Those who choose not to participate have the option to quarantine. Some area school districts have decided to temporarily return to virtual learning as cases spread. Miami Public Schools will be virtual for the rest of the week, as will Grove and Carthage. The Neosho, Missouri School District is canceling classes through the week because of a high rate of cases among staff. Other school districts say they're monitoring their situations. Pittsburgh State is re-implementing its mask mandate on campus. Classes at the university start up again next week, but the mandate is back in place as of yesterday. Officials say the recent surge of COVID-19 cases in Crawford County is the reason for the change. Under the mandate, all faculty, staff, students, and visitors are required to wear a mask while indoors on campus, regardless of vaccination status. The Kansas Technology Center at Pitt State is known for training some of the best automotive technology students in the world. Every 2 years, the top members of the field take part in the World Skills Automotive Technology Competition. It's a global competition with more than 60 content areas, and several people who trained at Pitt State have competed. This year's competition in Shanghai, China, will feature another PSU student, Ian Greger.
So the competition is actually decided by the competitors, by the competitors' countries and representatives from each country. And it changes every year. The vehicles we work on change every year. We don't know the vehicles we're going to be working on.
The competition in Shanghai will take place in October. Do you have a favorite business you'd like to see recognized on the air? We want your help to recognize the 4 states' finest. Head over to KOAMnewsnow.com/finest. And during this month, nominate your favorite 4-state businesses. You can use your browser or just snap a picture of our QR code with your phone and you'll go right to our website. Once there, you'll find several categories to choose from. This is all chosen by you, so be sure to join in on the nomination process this month. It's a great way to show your love and appreciation for your favorite local business. Each week, one lucky viewer who nominates a business will receive $100. So don't wait. Tell us about the 4 states' finest now. It's 5:07.
Still got that wide variety of temperatures, anywhere from high 20s, still holding on to there out in Neodesha, all the way up to 45 right now in Joplin and 44 in Carthage. Eventually, with some sunshine today, mid-50s. Wind comes in from the southwest, about 10 miles per hour overnight. Staying on the mostly clear side and just above that freezing point. 7-day forecast going to put us up at abnormally warm temperatures today, tomorrow, Friday. That's about where we should be, if not a little bit above. Remember, Friday night's going to bring us some rain. Could even see some snowflakes there Saturday morning, but the nice thing is our ground and our road going to be too warm to support any type of accumulation.
That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, Joplin and Webb City meet up in the Kaminsky Classic Championship over the weekend, where Joplin wins a nail-biter. Last night, same 2 teams, same floor. Would Webb City get revenge? We find out. Plus, a former Jeopardy contestant undergoes a dramatic weight loss transformation. And we want to know how you feel about your weight. And on Tuesday, the acting Food and Drug Administration Commissioner issues a dire warning about most people getting infected with COVID. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back.
PSU.
Missouri Southern Lions back in action Tuesday night. Hit the road for an MIAA doubleheader against Northeastern State. On the women's side, Lions aiming to avoid a 3rd straight loss after falling to Northwest Missouri and Missouri Western last week. Southern led it all night long and won it 78-62. 23 points, 7 rebounds, 8 assists for one Lacey Stokes. As for the men, they needed a Stan Scott lay-in with about 30 seconds to go. They get Stan Scott's lay-in, and they beat the Riverhawks 72-71. Lawson Jenkins leads the Lions. Jenkins had 19. Joplin and Webb City meeting in the Kaminsky Classic Championship over the weekend. Joplin won an instant classic. Final score 55-52. Won it in the final minute to win their home tournament. Just 3 days later, same 2 teams, same floor. Eagles and Cardinals meeting last night. It's the COC conference opener. Early on, always right. Great look to Terrence Gibson for the first points of the night. Go the other way as Caden Turner pushes the pace. Turner had 12 in the first half alone. Finished with 24 points and 10 rebounds. Second quarter, all right on the attack. Scored 6 in the second and put up 15 in the game. Trey Rotes for Webb City. One of his 2 threes in the quarter, spot it, hit it. 1 point lead for the Cardinals at the half. Third quarter now. Watch always right. Get out. He had 16. Tied at 40 going into the fourth. Game was so good. Here's Terrence Gibson. Steal it. Gibson, two-handed. Back and forth all night. Why not go to overtime in OT? Webb leads. Foul, basket from Roach. He had 17 points, 9 rebounds. Cards up 4, and they hold on. Webb City with a little revenge, beating Joplin 60-57. Galena Bulldogs hosted a CNC doubleheader against Colgan on the boys' side. Galena's been one of the best teams in the area to start the season. 6-1, ranked 4th in the state in Class 3A, aiming to bounce back after suffering their first loss Friday against Frontenac. Starting in the first quarter, Tyler Little behind everybody. Little's got the easy lay-in. Then in the second quarter, nobody guarding Brett Sarwinski. Do not leave Sarwinski open. Galena in control of this thing all night. In the third quarter, Colgan tries to stay in this thing with Aiden Fleming down low. Watch this spin move. Right off the glass. Then in the fourth, Jalen Van Beesler lines it up from outside. But Galena just too much. Bulldogs win it 57-24. Now 7-1 on the year. In the girls' game, 6-0 Colgan, ranked number 2 in the state, trying to stay perfect against the Bulldogs. In the first, Mia Sarwinski goes up the tough baseline jumper. Colgan does have an early lead, though. Second quarter, Gabby Riddell open in the corner. Colgan and Riddell race out to a 33-7 lead. In the third quarter, Bulldogs tried to make it a game. Michaela Newman, but Panthers got this thing on cruise control. Emily Emhoff, she had 3 threes last night. 11 for Emhoff, all Colgan, as the Panthers remain perfect on the season and win it 65-26. Georgia Bulldogs won the college football playoff championship Monday night. Did so in Indianapolis as the Bulldogs beat Alabama 33-18, claiming their first national title since the 1980 season. Despite winning by 15, Georgia had to work for it. Alabama actually took a 5-point lead early in the fourth quarter, but from there, Dogs able to close it out. Georgia went on to outscore Alabama 20-9 in the final period, including a pick 6 from Keely Ringo. His coach so bad wanted him to go down. Ringo said, "Sorry, coach, I didn't see you on the sideline. My bad." Now the Bulldogs, national champions for the first time in 41 years, setting a new standard for this program moving forward.
The goal is, moving forward, is, to stay hungry and, not get complacent. That's the worst thing you could possibly do, is get complacent. So our goal is, to continue on being chasing greatness in terms of, how we practice, the things we do, the players, even younger, older guys, being great leaders. So I would say moving forward, we just got to continue everything we did this year, and you just up it a level.
Hunker down, you hairy dogs. Still to come on the KOM Morning News, North Korea state media claims it has successfully test-fired a hypersonic missile. Wait until you hear how fast this thing can reportedly go. As South Korea and U.S. intelligence experts, they want to take a closer look. We also have a check of our 7-day forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns.
Things are happening right now at Food for Less. Don't miss out on the great prices.
Like top round roast.
Pretty quiet 7th and Rangeline right now. Not a whole lot of Wednesday morning action as of yet. Currently, we sit at 45 degrees. My goodness, did pick up a latest gust of 24 miles per hour there at Joplin Regional Airport, and temperatures still very widespread. We're as low as 29 in Neodesha and already up into the mid-40s there for Joplin and Carthage at 45 and 44 respectively. We got 39 in Monette and Cassville. Miami sits at 41. Speaking of the wind, not too bad so far. Anywhere from about 10 to 15 miles per hour out on the eastern edge of southwest Missouri, and then beginning to die down out on the western part of southeast Kansas. Does present just a tad bit of a wind chill again. Second day in a row, right? Remember yesterday it came back, but then it magically appeared? Huh. We'll have to see. It's not that cold out, don't worry about it. 13-degree difference, that is a nice little bump up right there. And a large part of that is simply because everything continues to move in from the south, at least our surface winds do. And then the jet stream is really flattened out. We did have that big pronounced ridge on Monday. And we've seen a little easterly push, but it's really from up here. Instead of everything sweeping in down from Canada, it's kind of pushing most of the cooler air toward the Great Lakes and then shooting off to the northeastern portion of the U.S. A little bit of cloud cover, no precipitation to worry about. As a matter of fact, our clouds will actually increase here for the afternoon hours, but still above normal temperatures all the way up into the mid-50s. And remember, we stay on the dry side for Wednesday, Thursday, and most of Friday till we get a little rain that drops in from the north. That won't be until Friday night through Saturday morning. Time now to turn our attention to the KOAM News Now Facebook page in our morning Insta poll as a Hawaii man is crediting his amazing physical transformation to the pandemic. After losing his tourism business, Joshua Swiger set out on a fitness journey, lost half of his body weight, half of it. Jim Mendoza with his story.
Several days a week, Joshua Swiger works out at a park in Makakilo, using his body weight to build muscle and burn fat.
I try to do a hike once or twice a week. I mix it up a lot. I end up doing some sort of activity pretty much every day.
A couple of years ago, fitness was the furthest thing from his mind.
Joshua. What is Magnum PI? Yes.
This is how he looked when he appeared on the game show Jeopardy back in January 2020.
I became known for being the Aloha shirt guy on Jeopardy. I was not just overweight, not just obese, but according to the charts, morbidly obese.
The married father weighed more than 400 pounds. Then the pandemic hit. Before COVID, he owned a small tour company that went under when tourism dried up.
The summer was going to be really great for me, and the business 100% shut down in a matter of days.
While he searched for jobs and tightened his belt, he took a good look at himself.
I didn't feel like I was that big until I looked in a mirror. And then I would say, my goodness,
That flipped a switch and set him on a weight loss journey. It started by watching his diet and doing easy exercises with his kids. The pounds fell from his frame.
I'm pretty sure that in another 5 or 6 years, I would have seen some very serious health problems. I don't think I would have done this without the pandemic, and that's a really weird thing to say.
Swiger just hit his weight goal of being less than 200 pounds. Even his career path has been transformed. He's now a personal trainer and fitness instructor.
My mission from now on is to encourage and inspire as many people as I can so that they can do impossible things too.
Not bad for someone who's half the man he used to be.
Our poll question for you this morning, are you happy with your weight, or would you like to lose a little or gain a little? Let us know by connecting to us via our Facebook page or straight to the poll, KOAMnewsnow.com/vote. Health Watch is next.
At Midwest Hearing
Resort.
Topping Health Watch this morning, according to new data, more people are in U.S. hospitals with COVID-19 than ever before. U.S. Department of Health and Human Services released the data showing patients with the virus have reached a new record high. Nearly 146,000 patients are currently being treated in hospitals for COVID-19. That's twice as many from 2 weeks ago and surpasses the previous high set in January of 2021. 24,000 patients are being treated in intensive care units. The number of children in hospitals with COVID also reached a new high. Nearly 5,000 pediatric patients either have confirmed COVID or are suspected of having the virus. Experts say not every patient was originally hospitalized because of COVID. Some were admitted for another illness but tested positive while in the hospital. According to the CDC, 98% of new COVID cases are the Omicron variant. Well, a grim warning from the acting commissioner of the Food and Drug Administration, who says most people will end up getting infected with COVID-19. Alexandra Field reports.
Facing the highest number of hospitalizations during the pandemic, the FDA's acting commissioner appealing to keep the focus on essential services.
Most people are going to get COVID. All right, and what we need to do is make sure the hospitals can still function.
The most seriously ill are the unvaccinated, but there are no clear answers yet for how quickly we could see vaccines for children under 5. Those clinical trials are still ongoing.
We are working very closely with the manufacturers of the vaccines on accelerating and making sure that vaccines are available for the youngest children.
Hospitalizations for children are also at an all-time high. The CDC says the risk of hospitalization is now 17 times higher for unvaccinated people than for fully vaccinated people.
It's not only the fact that hospital beds are being taken up by COVID-positive patients, displacing the heart attacks and the strokes and the appendicitis cases, etc. But also, this virus is spreading so fast that we have a lot of medical staff out.
Harris County, Texas, going to its highest COVID threat level for the 3rd time since the pandemic began, while the state plans to deploy another 2,700 medical workers to assist with the surge. The strain on hospital beds triggering a limited state of emergency in Virginia. The National Guard now pitching in Kentucky.
Not only are you distorting it.
Dr. Fauci calling out Kentucky Senator Rand Paul today for raising money by repeating false claims, emphasizing the danger in that.
That kindles the crazies out there, and I have threats upon my life, harassment of my family and my children with obscene phone calls because people are lying about me.
And as the debate over vaccine mandates makes its way through the Supreme Court, United Airlines reports their mandate has been a success in the Omicron surge. Prior to our vaccine requirement, tragically more than one United employee on average per week was dying from COVID, but we've now gone 8 straight weeks with 0 COVID-related deaths among our vaccinated employees.
Well, the Department of Health and Human Services reports nearly 146,000 people were in the U.S. hospitals with COVID-19 as of Tuesday. That's more than the previous peak from mid-January last year and almost twice of what that was 2 weeks ago. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. Coming up, the Parsons Police Department reports another dog killed, the 3rd one in less than a year.
Temperatures all over the map on this Wednesday morning, but eventually we're going to settle into the mid-50s in January, the latest from the Skywatch Weather Center.
And the Kansas Technology Center trained some of the best automotive tech students in the world, and this year they've got one going to a global competition.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:30. I'm Tanya Bach. We'll get to those stories in just a moment, but first, loving these temperatures, Michael.
Topped out at 57 yesterday at Joplin Regional Airport, almost a repeat performance for our Wednesday. Speaking of Wednesday, here's our daily almanac for January the 12th. Average high, well, we should settle in around 44 degrees. This will be the 3rd consecutive day that we're well above that. As a matter of fact, the low that we've recorded so far at Joplin Regional Airport is 45, so that's already above that daily high. But tell you what, it's not 45 everywhere. We are so scattered this morning. Neodesha's at 29, Joplin at 45, and then we've got several places that split the difference, 37 in Nevada, warming up down to the south too. Miami and Grove at 42 and 43 respectively. Now, even with some increased cloud cover, we're all going to end up in the mid-50s. Like I said, yesterday was 57. We'll be about right there again. Wind is going to die down just a little bit. Still coming in pretty good. We had a gust of 24 miles per hour here just not too long ago. As we push into the nighttime hours, just above that freezing point, we'll be mostly clear and calm. Still no precipitation, and by the time Friday rolls around, we're going to need a little bit of it. Like I said, it might be a good time to bust out the humidifier, especially if you got the young ones sitting around the living room or something like that. 7-day forecast. By the time we do get into Friday, it's a big Canadian air mass that drops in from the north. It's going to be mostly rain. Anything that we do see that wants to result in some early Saturday morning snowflakes certainly won't be able to stick, Tanya. Our ground just going to be too warm coming off of everything we've had this week so far.
All right. We'll enjoy these temperatures while they last. Well, police in Parsons, Kansas say another dog has been killed, the city's 3rd in less than a year. Officers say this dog, named Draco, was found on December 29th wrapped in a blanket by a small bridge near Felix and 7th Streets. A veterinarian who examined Draco says there was severe trauma to the dog's abdomen and around the neck from a choke chain that was on it, indicating that a human did it. This is the 3rd dog in Parsons to be killed and the 4th to be attacked. Police say a dog named Blue was shot and killed, and then another named Zeus was shot but survived. And then on December 3rd, the dog of a Parsons police officer ranger was found brutally killed. A $34,000 reward is being offered in that case. However, authorities say no leads have come of it, which makes them think it is the work of a lone suspect. Parsons police are encouraging all dog owners in the city to keep an eye on their pets while they are outside. Joplin police released new details in the shooting death of a teenager. Todd Mays is in custody, charged with the first-degree murder of his 17-year-old daughter. Jasper County coroner says the victim's name is Prayer Nicholson. However, friends and family knew her as Prayer Waddell. The shooting happened at a home on South Connor in Joplin. A police report indicates the suspect and victim got into a verbal argument on the upper floor, that the girl threw a glass bottle at Mays. They say Mays went downstairs, got a handgun, and then confronted his daughter on the staircase and shot her once in the abdomen. She died at the hospital. Long lines of cars filled the parking lot of Pittsburgh Community Middle School as students with close contact of a COVID-positive person waited to be tested. KOAM's Bronte Sorotsky spoke with a parent about the long line she says she experienced and explains how the district's test to stay policy works.
The parking lot of Pittsburgh Community Middle School has been more full than usual lately. It's not just middle school students and staff, rather families from all of USD 250.
So we got the call on Friday a little after lunch that she was going to have to be tested until the 14th for the next 10 days, or she was to stay home. And on Friday, since it was after lunch, we drove around here. There was already a line. I was like, what's the point? You know, the day's almost over. So Friday we didn't get tested.
It's part of Pittsburgh School's Test to Stay program, where students who were a close contact and want to attend school will need to be tested at the school's testing site. But parents like Rochelle Molina say it's been a challenge.
They open at 6:30. I got here at 6:35 this morning. There was already 4 lines, so I knew it was going to be an hour and a half plus. And I have 3 other kids to get ready for USD 250, so I was like, there is no way.
We reached out to the school district for comment, but said they were too busy and directed us to a Board of Education meeting from Monday.
The other piece is because of the amount of testing that's out there, other entities in our community are either stopped testing and have only went by appointments only, or have run out of tests. And so the only place for some of our families to get tested now is with us.
Melina says as a working parent, she doesn't have the time to wait in line that long.
Parents, missing 2 hours, work time just standing in this line doesn't make much sense either.
There aren't too many other options, as the school is not accepting at-home tests as proof.
Thank goodness for at-home tests, but we have already seen false positives and false negatives off of at-home test. They are not near as accurate as the antigen test that we are given, and certainly not as accurate as the PCR, which is why we are verifying.
The school district says currently their testing site is overwhelmed, as parents say wait times exceed 2 hours. In Pittsburgh, Bronte Sorotsky, KOAM News.
And the testing site at the middle school is not a public testing site and is only for Pittsburgh School District students and staff. The Kansas Technology Center at Pitt State is known for training some of the best automotive tech students in the world. Every 2 years, the top members of the field take part in the World Skills Automotive Tech Competition. It's a global competition with more than 60 content areas, and several people who trained at Pitt State have competed. This year's competition in Shanghai, China will feature another PSU student, Ian Greger.
So the competition is actually decided by the competitors, by the competitors' countries and representatives from each country. And it changes every year. The vehicles we work on change every year. We don't know the vehicles we're going to be working on.
The competition in Shanghai will take place in October. Here's Michael with a look at your forecast.
Still widespread temperatures, 29 to 45. We get a little taste of everything this morning. Nice thing is it's going to be another day of abnormally warm January temperatures all the way up into the mid-50s, probably about 12, 13 degrees above normal overnight. Should be able to stay above that freezing point. Got 3 more days of temperatures that are going to be delightful for the afternoon. Remember, Friday night is when some rain drops in from the north, carries us into Saturday morning. Chillier weekend ahead, that is for sure, as we're in the 30s both Saturday and Sunday.
That's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. We've got an inspiring story of an 83-year-old great-grandmother who also happens to be a Harvard student. And you don't want to miss this story. Plus, experts say 1 million children in Afghanistan face acute hunger. Now the UN launches its largest humanitarian appeal in response to this growing crisis. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back.
He's a good cop, she's...
Topping World Watch, North Korea says it successfully test-fired a hypersonic missile. The announcement was made on North Korean state media, which also reported that Kim Jong-un attended the launch. South Korea authorities say the missile covered 435 miles and landed in the ocean between the Korean peninsula and Japan. Those authorities also say the missile is more advanced than the one North Korea tested last week, reaching more than 10 times the speed of sound. Experts doubt the missile was hypersonic, but South Korean and the U.S. intelligence authorities are now taking a closer look to analyze the projectile. Well, the UN launches its largest ever single country humanitarian appeal in response to the growing humanitarian crisis in Afghanistan. Half of the country's population is facing acute hunger, and 1 million children are heading for severe acute malnutrition, which is life-threatening without treatment. Arwa Damon has more on the story.
Among the biggest tragedies that is Afghanistan's story is perhaps the reality that this very situation, this level of such a dire humanitarian catastrophe, could have been avoided. It's worth remembering that even before the fall of the Taliban, Afghanistan was a country whose population, about 50% of its population, lived below the poverty line. It had just emerged from the worst drought in the last 3 decades, heavily hitting its agricultural sector, its own food stocks, and then of course its economy was already in a dire situation. And then you had the chaotic US NATO withdrawal, the Taliban takeover of Kabul, the freezing of Afghanistan's assets, billions of dollars of them, and the effective evaporation of international assistance and crucial, much needed development aid. Prior to the Taliban takeover, around 80% of Afghanistan's budget was funded by the United States and other Western nations. All of that gone. And now the country has no means, no ability to try to assist its own people. Humanitarian organizations have put out this call for $4.4 billion, laying out a very detailed plan to address everything from providing food to winterization programs to education to child and women protection. And they are also providing assurances that this money will go directly to the beneficiaries, that will not fall in the Taliban's hands. And right now, so many are saying that Afghanistan is in such a critical situation that the world cannot afford to turn away. According to the head of one of the leading international aid organizations, at this very moment, around 9 million people in Afghanistan are on the brink of starvation.
That's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. Let's toss it over to Michael for our Something to Talk About.
Thank you, Tanya. This morning on the KOAM News Now Facebook page in our morning Insta poll, extreme weight loss. Now, if you're a fan of the show Jeopardy, you may recognize Joshua Swiger, or you may not recognize him, but he was known as the Aloha shirt guy. The married father weighed more than 400 pounds. Then the pandemic hit. Before COVID, he owned a small tour company that went under when Hawaii tourism dried up. While he searched for jobs, tightened his belt, he took a good look at himself, and that look sent Josh on a weight loss journey. Started by watching his diet, doing daily exercises, and now, once 400 pounds, he weighs in at just under 200 pounds. He's actually become a personal trainer and fitness instructor. Our question for you this morning, are you happy with your weight, or would you like to lose or gain a little bit? Right now, 51% of you go to lose a lot, followed by 33% with lose a little. 16% of you say, yeah, right where we should be. So far, nobody's chimed in saying you'd like to gain a couple of pounds. You can make your voice heard by going to KOAMnewsnow.com/vote or connect to us via our Facebook page We'll be back with the news you need to know before you head out the door right after this.
It's time for nominations for the
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Police in Parsons, Kansas say another dog has been killed, the city's third in less than a year. Officers say this dog, named Draco, was found on December 29th, wrapped in a blanket by a small bridge near Felix and 7th Streets. A veterinarian who examined Draco says there was severe trauma to the dog's abdomen and around the neck from a choke chain that was on it, indicating that a human did it. This is the third dog in Parsons to be killed and the fourth to be attacked. Police say a dog named Blue was shot and killed, and then another named Zeus was shot but survived. And then on December 3rd, the dog of a Parsons police officer, Ranger, was found brutally killed. $34,000 reward is being offered in that case. However, authorities say no leads have come of it, which makes them think it's the work of a lone suspect. Parsons police are encouraging all dog owners in the city to keep an eye on their pets while they're outside. Joplin police released new details in the shooting death of a teenager. Todd Mays is in custody, charged with the first-degree murder of his 17-year-old daughter. Jasper County coroner says the victim's name is Prayer Nicholson. However, friends and family knew her as Prayer Waddell. Shooting happened at a home on South Connor in Joplin. Police report indicates the suspect and victim got into a verbal argument on the upper floor, that the girl threw a glass bottle at Mays. They say Mays went downstairs, got a handgun, and then confronted his daughter on the staircase and shot her once in the abdomen. She died at the hospital. The Kansas Technology Center at Pitt State is known for training some of the best automotive technology students in the world. And every 2 years, the top members of the field take part in the World's Skills Automotive Technology Competition. It's a global competition with more than 60 content areas. Several people who trained at Pitt State have competed. This year's competition in Shanghai, China will feature another PSU student, Ian Greger. At a council meeting Tuesday night, the city of Carthage recognized some local heroes who helped save the life of a Jasper County deputy. Chris Corbett suffered a heart attack in November, and last night some co-workers at the Jasper County Sheriff's Office, emergency dispatchers, the Carthage Fire Department, and Mercy McCune Brooks EMTs were honored for recognizing and responding to Corbett's symptoms. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
Our temperature's still very widespread. Now we've got Iola that's dropped down to 29 degrees. Joplin holding steady at 45 and Pittsburgh at 37. It is a little bit blustery outside. Picked up a wind gust of 24 miles per hour at Joplin Regional Airport. Nationally speaking, it's going to be the Pacific Northwest. The waterlogged Pacific Northwest is going to bear the brunt today. Rest of the contiguous 48 rather quiet, with still a whole bunch of high pressure hanging over the Midwest, and even though we'll see some increased cloud cover, off to a clean and clear start. Afternoon hours well above normal by about 12 to 13 degrees. We'll go mid-50s. A little southwest breeze, 10 miles per hour, and then overnight should be able to avoid that freezing mark as we drop down into the mid-30s. Big change still coming on Friday. We got 2 more days of very nice January temperatures. And then Friday night, a big system's going to drop in from the north, bring us rain for Friday night into Saturday. Now, anything that we see that flips over into some snowflakes there on Saturday morning, our ground's just going to be way too warm from the past couple of days to result in any accumulation. But that is something we'll keep our eyes on. And get ready to bundle up there on Saturday and Sunday as we'll kind of hang in the 30s before we get ready for Martin Luther King Jr. Day on Monday. We'll be back with more KOAM Morning News right after this.
KOAM TV.
Well, it's never too late to learn something new. One Texas great-grandmother will tell you that, and she's picking up plenty of fresh knowledge as she works towards a degree at Harvard. Robbie Owens has her story.
They'll want to be able to go out and be challenged.
With 83 birthdays behind her, Mrs. Barbara Ingram of Dallas still isn't ready to retire from learning.
I got bored and I decided that I needed to do something mentally to stay busy.
So when she'd had her fill of puzzles during the pandemic, the great-grandmother decided to take on a new challenge, Harvard.
Best school I could go to, and the hardest school I felt like I could go to.
With her family's full support, later this month, she'll begin her 4th semester at the elite school, studying economics and history and working hard.
I have a routine. I started at night at 10 o'clock and studied till 2:30 in the morning. And if I'd studied longer, I probably could have done better, but that was my routine.
Oh, yes, and having fun.
I almost feel guilty that I'm having such a good time.
Ingram is taking all of her classes online, but tells me she hopes to one day visit the campus. Already, she's being called a billboard for lifelong learning. So, yep, she's got one of those too.
I couldn't process it the first time that Stan and I pulled up to look at it.
And while she's enjoying both the applause and the challenge, she says the message isn't just meant for her.
There was a lady out there, and I got out of the car and walked over to her, and I said, well, why are you taking a picture of this? And she said, because I want my mother to see this. So I knew what she meant. She wanted her mother to get on the ball and do something.
Because dreams needn't come with expiration dates.
We've done a lot of living, but we still have a lot of living to do.
That's right. We still have a lot of living to do. Great advice. Ingraham says the next thing she wants to do is live and learn in Italy, and she's planning on doing that later this year. We'll be back with another look at your forecast when we return.
Even though our temperatures are very widespread right now, eventually we'll even out in the mid-50s. Sunshine early before some increasing cloud cover. 2 back-to-back days of abnormally warm weather for a cold front gets us on Saturday and Sunday. Back right after this.
Another dog killed, the third one in less than a year.
Widespread variety of temperatures and a little bit of a windy Wednesday, but I tell you what, the warm front is still upon us. We'll have the latest from the Skywatch Weather Center.
And the Kansas Technology Center trains some of the best automotive tech students in the world, and this year they've got one going to a global competition.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It is 6 a.m. I'm Tanya Bach. We'll get to those stories in just a moment, but first, let's focus on these lovely temperatures.
A quiet 6 a.m. Not a whole lot of action out there at 7th and Rangeline so far. Everybody, maybe hitting the snooze button. I don't know. For those of you hitting the snooze button and getting around right now, thank you for joining us. Our current conditions at Joplin Regional Airport sit at 44 degrees. Wind beginning to back off just a little bit. Already have some gusts though in excess of 20 miles per hour. Look how low that humidity already is. My goodness, all the way down to 47% this early in the morning. Gives you an idea how dry we'll be this afternoon. Our temperatures were as low as 26 in Neodesha and 28 in Iola. And compare that to 45 in Joplin and 43 in Carthage. We are just all over the board on this Wednesday morning. It's quiet, and we'll be off to a mostly sunny start after sunrise at 7:31. Pacific Northwest up by Washington State, the waterlogged Pacific Northwest is really going to see the majority of the action for today. Not a whole lot going on in the Midwest because the high pressure still remains. And we get to enjoy temperatures back up into the mid-50s today. And got up to 57 yesterday. Got about a repeat performance, not only on Wednesday, but we'll back off that freezing mark and we'll be able to roll mid-50s again on Thursday. Then when our changes come, we've got a big air mass moving in from Canada. It is going to pack a little bit of some precipitation. Looks like it'll revert back to rain as it gets upon us. Most of the snow will be for the upper plains. Anything that we do see flip over for the north part of the 4 states Saturday morning, ground's going to be way too warm to support any accumulation. So let's be thankful that we have this nice little warm surge, if you will. Really, we've had it for the past couple of days. Get it for the next 2 days. Don't have to worry about anything sticking to the ground. I like that idea.
Yeah, not a bad.
It's chilly this weekend, though. Anytime we throw up the 30 with an S right there, that means we're going to start in the 30s and then go down during Saturday. Sunday, only 37.
Definitely can't. I'm not looking forward to another dip, but enjoy the week. Let's focus on that.
Yeah, we can't. And Friday afternoon's not going to be bad at all either. Up around 50 degrees before the rain kicks in. Not too bad.
There you go. All right. Thanks, Michael. Well, Joplin police released new details on the shooting death of a teenager. Todd Mays is in custody, charged with the first-degree murder of his 17-year-old daughter. Jasper County coroner says the victim's name is Prayer Nicholson. However, friends and family knew her as Prayer Waddell. Shooting happened at a home on South Connor in Joplin. Police report indicates the suspect and victim got into a verbal argument on the upper floor, that the girl threw a glass bottle at Mays. They say Mays went downstairs, got a handgun, and then confronted his daughter on the staircase and shot her once in the abdomen. She died at the hospital. Police in Parsons, Kansas say another dog has been killed, the city's third in less than a year. Officers say this dog named Draco was found December 29th, wrapped in a blanket by a small bridge near Felix and 7th Street. A veterinarian who examined Draco says there was severe trauma to the dog's abdomen and around the neck from a choke chain that was on it, indicating that a human did it. This is the third dog in Parsons to be killed and the fourth to be attacked. Police say a dog named Blue was shot and killed, and then another named Zeus was shot but survived. Then on December 3rd, the dog of a Parsons police officer, Ranger, was found brutally killed. $34,000 reward is being offered in that case. However, authorities say no leads have come of it, which makes them think it is the work of a lone suspect. Parsons police are encouraging all dog owners in the city to keep an eye on their pets while they are outside. Some area school districts have decided to temporarily return to virtual learning as cases spread. Miami Public Schools will be virtual for the rest of the week, as will Grove and Carthage. The Neosho, Missouri School District is canceling classes through the week because of a high rate of cases among staff. Other school district officials say they're monitoring their situations. The Pittsburgh School District is testing students who have come in contact with COVID-positive person on campus. But not all parents say it's worth the time. Parking lot at Pittsburgh Middle School was lined with rows of cars yesterday, all with students needing to be tested for COVID-19. Kids who are tested at the school can either return home with a positive test or return to class with a negative.
I knew it was going to be an hour and a half plus. And I have 3 other kids to get ready for USD 250, so I was like, there is no way. So I decided today, called the nurse, we're going to write out the next 3 days. I don't see how parents can come and stay in a line for 2 and 3 hours when they have to work. It just doesn't make sense.
School district says their Test to Stay program is optional for families. Those who choose not to participate have the option to quarantine. Pittsburgh State is re-implementing its mask mandate on campus. Classes at the university start up again next week, but the mandate is back in place as of yesterday. Officials say the recent surge of COVID-19 cases in Crawford County is the reason for the change. Under the mandate, all faculty, staff, students, and visitors are required to wear a mask while indoors on campus, regardless of vaccination status. And the Kansas Technology Center at Pitt State is known for training some of the best automotive tech students in the world. Every 2 years, the top members of the field take part in the World Skills Automotive Technology Competition. It's a global competition with more than 60 content areas. Several people who trained at Pitt State have competed. This year's competition in Shanghai, China will feature another PSU student, Ian Greger.
So the competition is actually decided by the competitors, by the competitors' countries and representatives from each country. And it changes every year. The vehicles we work on change every year. We don't know the vehicles we're going to be working on.
Competition in Shanghai will take place in October. One thing about allergies, whether they're seasonal or year-round, they are annoying. The Freeman Allergy Clinic is trying to make treatment more accessible. The clinic is expanding its services to offer access to allergy shots and other services 5 days a week. Changes are possible because the clinic is now in a new office, which workers say allows them to better treat patients.
And then as far as other food allergies, such as, milk, egg white, wheat, which, by the way, a true wheat allergy is not the same thing as gluten sensitivity, but we test for that. And then also, of course, peanut, tree nut, almonds, walnut, those kind of things.
Freeman Allergy Clinic's new office is located at 702 East 34th Street in Joplin. Well, it is Girl Scout cookie season, although Girl Scouts of the Missouri Heartland kicked off the cookie season on January 3rd. It started for all the other Girl Scouts yesterday, and you can support your local Girl Scout by purchasing a box or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 of your favorite cookies, whether it be Thin Mints, shortbread cookies, or even peanut butter patties. There are flavors for everyone. There's also a new flavor this year called Adventurefuls, which are an indulgent brownie-inspired cookie with caramel-flavored cream and a hint of sea salt. Can't wait to try those. When you purchase these cookies from your local Girl Scout, it helps fuel her adventures throughout the year. And I do want to throw this out. I say it every year. I need a Girl Scout to come by and sell me cookies, and I've yet to have it happen. But
you doing online?
I don't know. No, the whole point of selling cookies is to like increase your public speaking skills and stuff. I mean, yeah, you can do it online. You can do all that stuff.
I didn't know.
I'm sure they have online stuff set up, but like, that's what I got out of it when I was selling cookies as a youth, was, you know, going up and, you know, taking yourself out of your comfort zone and using that strategy, like developing a strategy to sell cookies and stuff.
Okay, what kind is the household getting?
Well, we have to have the Caramel Delights, which some brands are called Samoas, but I think Missouri Heartlands are Caramel Delights. But oh, those are my favorite. But I'm excited to try the Adventurefuls because they have caramel on them too, and brownie.
Okay, you Girl Scouts out there, this is what you're missing. She's saying right now that the household is open for business. All right, we'll get you some cookies, okay? It's chilly if you're selling cookies this morning.
Yes, and I won't be home this morning.
Good call.
Catch me after school.
It'll be great this afternoon to sell cookies.
Right.
Mid-50s, sunny skies. And don't worry about rain until Friday night.
All right, that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News. Want to know what's coming out in 2022? Stick with us. We'll tell you what's anticipated at the box office. Plus, the Biden administration is in hot water over how it's handling the pandemic. We'll have details. And looking to change jobs? Stick with us. We'll have which industries you should look to work at in this year. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back.
Nothing puts your appliance.
In Consumer Watch this morning, with millions of Americans quitting their jobs recently, there's a new list of where they could land next. U.S. News and World Report is out with the top 10 jobs for 2022. And as Naomi Ruckham explains, healthcare and tech dominate the list.
The threat of a cyber attack haunts companies around the world. Brian Rozak works for the security firm Optiv and helps businesses shield their networks from hackers.
And what are you protecting against?
I'm protecting against two things. People making mistakes because technology is complicated, and attackers who want to do harm and steal information.
Rozak is an information security analyst, and his job is #1 on U.S. News and World Report's list of best jobs for 2022.
When you saw that this is the top job of the year, were you shocked?
No, I wasn't. We're seeing a tremendous amount of interest from new people trying to break into the industry.
U.S. News and World Report recognized information security for its median salary of more than $103,000 a year, strong job growth potential, and good work-life balance. Other tech jobs were also high on the list, but careers in healthcare took 4 of the top 10 spots, with nurse practitioner at #2 and physician assistant at #3.
They have lower barriers to entry than some other healthcare jobs. They don't require medical school, so you can start working much earlier.
When making their rankings, U.S. News and World Report balances factors like salary, unemployment rate, job growth, and stress.
This job is very stressful. You can manage it, but you never know when an attack could come.
But Rozak says there's plenty of job security in the security business. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News, New York.
Other top jobs for 2022 included software developer, data scientist, financial manager, and lawyer. Stocks bounced back on Tuesday. The Dow rallied 183 points. The Nasdaq gained 210. The S&P 500 rose 42. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell was back on Capitol Hill yesterday, this time for his confirmation hearing for a second term as the head of the central bank. Powell told a Senate committee that the economy is healthy and that rate hikes are likely needed in order to normalize monetary policy. Quebec is planning a tax on the unvaccinated. Lawmakers in the Canadian province say residents without their shots are putting a financial burden on others. The tax would not apply to those who are not vaccinated for medical reasons. In Quebec, which has seen the highest number of COVID-related deaths in Canada, 12% of residents have not been inoculated. Well, the newest Barbie in its Inspiring Women series is Ida B. Wells. Wells was born a slave and later worked as a journalist and co-founded the NAACP. Barbie maker Mattel says she helps inspire children to imagine a better future. Wells also has a miniature replica of the Memphis Free Speech, the publication where she became an editor, in her hands. That's cool. The dolls go on sale next week. That's awesome. That's it for Consumer Watch. We'll be right back.
28.
Starting to pick up a little action here over 7th and Rangeline. Been a delightful morning so far. Temperatures, though, still just all over the place. Joplin sits right now at 44 degrees. Wind, the high wind has moved off to the east, so that's not too bad. But we're as low right now. It's 26 in Neodesha and 28 in Iola. And then we're throwing up mid-40s there in Joplin, Carthage, and in Neosho. Miami sits at 42. There's an idea. Watch the blue and the yellow just kind of dip off to the east right there. So that's a good indicator that it's not going to be as blustery as what it was yesterday. Still resulting in wind chills, though, that are down in the 20s. But eventually, we're going to stabilize in the mid-50s. Another day of abnormally warm January weather. And we get to ride this through Thursday as well. Friday afternoon, not going to be too bad. Now, Friday night is when some rain kicks in, carries us into Saturday morning, Saturday and Sunday. A Canadian cold front moves in, drops us down to the 30s. New year, new movies, big blockbusters. We're going to take a look at some of the most anticipated films and changes announced so far for the upcoming movie calendar. Here's Ashley Dvorkin.
The Riddler is asking for you.
As we go into 2022, what are some of the most highly anticipated films still set on the slate for this year?
Fandango surveyed 6,000 moviegoers right at the beginning of the year. And according to moviegoers, Black Panther Wakanda Forever is the #1 most anticipated film this year.
The killer left this for the Batman.
We have a new Batman movie that is also very highly anticipated. That comes out in March. There's a new Thor movie, Thor Love and Thunder, that comes out this summer. And also, if you saw Spider-Man No Way Home, you know there's a new Doctor Strange movie coming out in May.
No one will ever stop me.
The Rock stars in Black Adam, which is a new character for him.
It's not just comic book excitement.
I think a lot of people are looking at this Jurassic World movie, Jurassic World Dominion, as being one of the biggest non-comic book movies. And then you have a double dose of Tom Cruise. You have a Top Gun sequel with Top Gun Maverick. That's going to be our big Memorial Day weekend movie this year. And then you have a new Mission Impossible movie that's arriving in September. There's another Halloween movie that will be coming out.
There are a couple calendar shifts.
Morbius, starring Jared Leto, that has moved now into April 1st. The next Pixar movie, Turning Red, which comes out in early March, Disney has decided to put that exclusively on Disney Plus.
Studios are also making changes.
Warner Brothers last year, every one of their big films they put into theaters and on HBO Max simultaneously. This year, they will end doing that. Look for studios to continue to experiment.
I need big shows, big ideas.
In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
Be back with Health Watch right after this.
Topping Health Watch, as the country faces skyrocketing cases and record hospitalizations, the Biden administration is facing growing scrutiny over how it's handling the pandemic. Brett Conway has the latest.
This is not a virus to fool around with. This is like no other respiratory virus.
And this variant is like no other.
Omicron will ultimately find just about everybody.
Most people are going to get COVID.
We've seen a nationwide average of more than 754,000 new cases of COVID-19 a day over the past week. Nearly 146,000 people were hospitalized with the virus as of Tuesday. And more than 1,600 people on average have died from it each day in the past week. Many hospitals are juggling staffing issues. States are doing everything from postponing elective surgeries to calling in the National Guard and declaring public health emergencies. And now more children are being hospitalized with COVID-19 than ever before. But the CDC says only about 1 in 6 kids aged 5 to 11 is fully vaccinated, as schools continue to assess and debate in-person learning. It's back to the classroom in several of the nation's largest school districts. Others have had to go remote amid massive teacher absences. All of this means all eyes are on the White House to turn the tide. Listen to what happened during a hearing on the federal response to Omicron.
Do you think anybody has had more influence over our response to this? You personally attacked me.
I assume that that's not the case.
What are you talking about? You are totally incorrect. What a moron.
What happens next will mark a pivotal moment for the Biden administration. I'm Britt Conway reporting.
Well, a new wearable device can help test for exposure to COVID-19 in indoor spaces. Researchers reporting to the American Chemical Society distributed their experimental air sampler called the Fresh Air Clip to 62 volunteers. The highest viral loads were detected in 2 devices worn by restaurant servers. More older Americans are dying from opioid overdoses. A Northwestern medicine study found opioid-related deaths increased more than 1,800% over a 20-year span, with disproportionate rates among black men. Doctors say many baby boomers continued recreational drug use into older age. Physicians often do not screen for misuse in that age bracket. A new study in the journal Child Development found teaching children ages 3 to 8 through guided play can be as effective as more traditional instruction. Benefits were seen in literacy and math, and also skills like persistence and creativity. Those are some of the top health stories today with Michael George. I don't think I was supposed to read that. All right. Good forecast. I pulled a wrong burgundy.
No, come on. We got to laugh. Got to have fun. Temperatures up into the mid-50s today. Don't worry about the cold front until we get to the weekend. Enjoy 10, 12 degrees above normal for this time of year. We'll be back right after this.
I was born and raised.
Lawn service is provided by the Wild Side in Pittsburgh for over 25 years.
Coming up, the Parsons Police Department reports another dog killed, the 3rd one in less than a year.
Above average temperatures once again, but we're going to look forward to the weekend because we've got some cold Canadian air on the way. We'll have the latest from the Skywatch Weather Center.
Also, the Kansas Technology Center trains some of the best automotive technology students in the world, and this year they've got one going to a global competition.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It is 6:30. I'm Tanya Bach. We'll get to those stories in just a moment, but first, let's go to Michael Hayslip, and we've got beautiful weather ahead today.
Topped out at 57 yesterday, going to be right back at it today. Current conditions as we stand over 7th and Range Line at 6:29 on this Wednesday morning, 44 degrees. But one thing about our temperatures, we are here, there, and everywhere. Now, while it's quiet over the Midwest, check out this variety that we've seen on the Mercury. 24 is our low point right now in Neodesha. 20 degrees warmer in Joplin at 44. Let's roll 36 in Pittsburgh, 35 in Monette. Weather trend for today, sunny skies to begin with. Little increasing cloud cover, still able to make it up into the mid-50s. And then as we drop overnight, staying just above the freezing point. As a matter of fact, mid-50s for Wednesday and Thursday. Let's talk Friday. Watch the top of your screen. Watch this thing just drop right down on us. Heavy snow for the upper plains, converting into rain there as it approaches us for Friday night into Saturday morning. Let's be thankful about the warmer temperatures that we do have, because anything that does flip over on us on Saturday morning is not going to be able to stick to the ground, simply because we've been so warm for the past several days and will be for the next couple of days.
I like seeing that low only down to 42 on Friday night.
They'll end up with about 6 to 12 in the upper plains.
Really?
Yeah, we kind of get lucky. It looks like after it wants to dive through Kansas City, change back into rain for us. So
we'll take
it.
it.
Yeah, we're going to need rain by then. We do. Our humidity level's so low each day.
All right, thanks, Michael. Well, police in Parsons, Kansas say another dog has been killed, the city's 3rd in less than a year. Officers say this dog named Draco was found on December 29th, wrapped in a blanket by a small bridge near Felix and 7th Street. A veterinarian who examined Draco says there was severe trauma to the dog's abdomen and around the neck from a choke chain that was on it, indicating that a human did it. This is the third dog in Parsons to be killed and the fourth to be attacked. Police say a dog named Blue was shot and killed, and then another named Zeus was shot but survived. And then on December 3rd, the dog of a Parsons police officer, Ranger, was found brutally killed. A $34,000 reward is being offered in that case. However, authorities say no leads have come of it, which makes them think it's the work of a lone suspect. Parsons police are encouraging all dog owners in the city to keep an eye on their pets while they are outside. One thing about allergies, whether they're seasonal or year-round, they're annoying. The Freeman Allergy Clinic is trying to make treatment more accessible. The clinic is expanding its services to offer access to allergy shots and other services 5 days a week. Changes are possible because the clinic is now in a new office, which workers say allows them to better treat patients.
And then as far as other food allergies, such as, milk, egg white, wheat, which, by the way, a true wheat allergy is not the same thing as gluten sensitivity, but we test for that. And then also, of course, peanut, tree nut, almonds, walnut, those kind of things.
The Freeman Allergy Clinic's new office is located at 702 East 34th Street in Joplin. The Kansas Technology Center at Pitt State is known for training some of the best automotive tech students in the world. Every 2 years, the top members of the field take part in the World Skills Automotive Tech Competition. It's a global competition with more than 60 content areas, and several people who trained at Pitt State have competed. This year's competition in Shanghai, China will feature another PSU student, Ian Greger.
So the competition is actually decided by the competitors, countries and representatives from each country. And it changes every year. The vehicles we work on change every year. We don't know the vehicles we're going to be working on.
The competition in Shanghai will take place in October. At a council meeting Tuesday night, the city of Carthage recognized some local heroes who helped save the life of a Jasper County deputy. Chris Corbett suffered a heart attack in November. Last night, some co-workers at the Jasper County Sheriff's Office, emergency dispatchers, the Carthage Fire Department, and Mercy McCune Brooks EMTs were honored for recognizing and responding to Corbett's symptoms.
You can't, money doesn't pay to save a life, you just need to turn around and do good deeds and, try to pay it back somehow. Whether it's a little token of appreciation, like sending pizza to the firehouse or something like that. We just need to do something.
City also honored members of the Carthage Police Department for their help. A Joplin organization is getting some much needed money for its mission of helping families in crisis. Chick-fil-A announced Watered Gardens Washington Family Hope Center will receive $125,000 as a recipient of a True Inspiration Award grant.
So we were excited to have a space available finally for moms to stay with their kids during those times of crisis. However, by the end of that first month, those 6 family units were full. And it's been mostly full except for a day or two here or there ever since.
The Washington Family Hope Center says it will use the funds to provide food, shelter, clothing, job counseling, and more. A Colorado woman was getting ready to leave for work for a baby shower when her own baby just couldn't wait. Her coworkers ended up helping her give birth. Fox's Carly Moore talked to the woman and her coworkers about this incredible birth story.
5 pounds, 9 ounces.
This tiny bundle of joy.
Never in a million years. Felt like it was in a movie.
Just 2 days old, already has the story of a lifetime.
I called my husband and was like, I think that these are real contractions at this point. They're not Braxton Hicks anymore. I'm pretty sure I'm going into labor.
You see, Jaleisha was at work at the Car Hop Auto Sales office in Lakewood when her co-workers unexpectedly became part of her birth story.
It happened quick. A lot of screaming and a lot of, I don't want to say anger, but pain going on. But, a lot of it was on my end just remaining calm, trying to keep her calm and trying to keep her breathing.
We didn't have any towels. We're a business. We're not in the business of babies.
Baby Jersey here is tiny, but healthy.
I'm just very grateful that there was no complications.
There are so many things that could happen in that situation, and everything happened perfectly, very quickly.
Back at home, the mom of 2 is thankful for her coworkers.
He stood up and did what he had to do and helped me out, and I really appreciate it because I don't know if she would have been okay if he hadn't.
Mom, Dad,
She's doing great.
and the Car Hop crew won't soon forget.
I mean, I might not put this on my resume, but on my resume of life, it certainly will be a story I will tell my kids, my grandkids.
I don't know where this fits on a resume, but I'm gonna lock it away and hold it as like one of my most treasured memories.
Awesome coworkers, that's for sure. Here's Michael with the latest look at your forecast.
24 to 44. We are all over the board on this Wednesday morning. Temperatures just scattered as can be. Eventually end up around 56, 57 degrees. Increasing cloud cover, staying dry though, and a 7-day forecast with back-to-back days in the 50s. Friday, we sit back and we wait a late night cold front that'll get on us for Friday night into Saturday morning. Gonna have some rain and got a chance for it flipping over into some snow.
Right. That's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour in the KOAM and Morning News. A man on the interstate gets into a car crash and ends up shot by police officers. We'll have why the situation escalated. Plus, some people are happy with their weight and others, they just want to lose it. However, we want to know, are you happy with how much you weigh, or do you want to lose some? Please weigh in. We'll be right back.
At Hardee's, then feed your happiness.
Topping Nation Watch this morning, authorities in North Carolina are investigating an officer-involved shooting after a car accident along a busy interstate in Raleigh. Witnesses say the driver was intoxicated and there was a child in the car. Josh Chapin has details.
Calm for about 5 minutes. Then the guy who was driving and then the guy who got shot got into a argument.
Stephen Valerio can describe the whole incident along Raleigh's Beltline today because he was there. He and his uncle pulled over to try and help. His uncle recording the part where police try and tase a man who Stephen said was out of control.
In the video that my uncle took, he flips over one of the officers and starts swinging, and then that's when the officer I don't know how many rounds he fired, but that's when he shot him.
But what led up to those shots is still under investigation. Raleigh police swarming 440 West today near Brentwood Road for a rollover crash.
The accident was like, you couldn't believe what you saw. I mean, it was just the way the truck was positioned was so crazy.
911 calls told police one of the people in the car was drunk and had a knife.
The officers approached this individual when they saw him, who at the time was walking away with a small child while still holding a knife.
Eyewitnesses and police said eventually the child was taken away from him unharmed. But Chief Stella Patterson said their efforts to tase the man didn't work, and after he swung a knife in their direction, he was shot.
I do stress and want to say that I want to wait till we have all the information before making any decisions or before making any statements concerning whether the shooting was justified or not justified. We just don't have all that information at this time.
As soon as I saw him pull the knife out, I knew that it had escalated to the situation, especially when he grabbed his son with a knife in his hand. I knew it had escalated to a situation where the cops would take out their guns.
No word on the condition of the man who was shot. The investigation has been turned over to the SBI. A 12-year-old girl was killed in Iowa Monday night after she was hit by a police car. The Iowa State Patrol says a Red Oak police officer was responding to a fire call when Vanna Marie Red ran into the road. Red died from her injuries. Officials say the officer is 22-year-old Reese Anderson and the accident is under investigation. So look at today's top national stories. Let's check back in with Michael for our Something to Talk About.
Thank you, Tanya. This morning on the KOAM News Now Facebook page in our morning Insta poll, talking about weight loss. If you're a fan of the game show Jeopardy, you may recognize Joshua Swiger, also known as the Aloha Shirt Guy. Now you may not recognize him. Married father, weighed more than 400 pounds when he was on the show. Then the pandemic hit. Before COVID, he owned a small tour company. Went under, though, when tourism dried up in Hawaii. And so while Swiger searched for jobs, he had to tighten his belt, take a good look at himself, and that sent him on his weight loss journey. Started by watching his diet, doing daily exercises with his kids, and the pounds just melted off. He now weighs in at just under 200 pounds. That's right, he was 400 pounds when he was on the show. Weighs in at just under 200 pounds. He's become a personal trainer and a fitness instructor. Our question for you this morning is, are you happy with your weight, or would you like to lose or gain a little bit? Now, 32% of you say lose a lot, 46% say lose a little. So that is actually 78% of those of you who have responded. 13% go with I'm good, and we've got 9% that say, nah, I'd take a couple extra pounds. We appreciate all your engagement. You can connect to us via our Facebook page or go directly to the poll at koamnewsnow.com/vote. Now, here's a look at what's coming up on CBS Mornings.
Ahead and only on CBS Mornings, we'll talk with the U.S. Education Secretary about the Biden administration's new push to expand testing at schools across the country. Plus, Drew Barrymore joins us to talk about how she conquered her fears about dating as a single mom and why she wants to share her experience. All of that and more. We'll see you at 7.
This week on Real, be part of the excitement.
We take this time to honor today's four-state hero, Vern Moore from Frontenac, Kansas. Moore served as a corporal in the U.S. Marines and fought in Vietnam. He earned the Bronze Star and the Vietnam Service Medal. We thank you, Corporal Vern Moore, today's four-state hero.
The birthday list begins with a smiling Wyatt Howard, who's celebrating his 6th birthday in Stella. Wyatt, a happy birthday with wishes coming from your mom.
All right, Bentley Bauer turning 7 strong this year. It's a good-looking picture there, ready for school. Happy birthday, Bentley.
In Seneca, Maddie Miller, she is turning 12. Maddie, happy birthday from Dad, Emma, Chief, and Nanny.
All right, Weston Harris celebrating his entry into the teenage years, 13 for Weston in Jasper, Missouri.
We have another teenager, Elijah Morrison, celebrating number 13 as well. Elijah, a very happy birthday to you in Lamar.
All right, in Joplin, Elle Hall is sweet 16 this year. Great picture there, Ellie. Birthday was actually yesterday, with love coming from Aunt Charity and Uncle Jamie.
Ridley Lynn, celebrating her 17th birthday. Lovely Christmas picture right there. Happy birthday to you, Ridley in Altamont.
John Hutto in Crestline, happy birthday to you. Hope you have a great day.
My man. What up, Doc? Paul Hutsey, absolutely marvelous man right there. Paul, I apologize that the pandemic has gotten in the way of me running into you during your walks, and I'll always enjoy speaking with you, and a very happy birthday. That's a great smile right there too. That's Paul personified. Happy birthday, Mr. Hutsey. And who that is?
The man of the hour.
Our own commercial producer, James Mask, AKA I call him Jimmy Jam. And for those of you that enjoy just sitting down and talking baseball, I am fortunate enough to have that man in my life, because that's what I thoroughly enjoy doing with him right there. Happy birthday, my man.
Hope you have a great day, James. Happy birthday. And next
Get in
on
here
our
to
list,
work. Let's go.
we've got Gail Moody celebrating a birthday in Frontenac.
Miss Gail gets a screen all to herself right there. How cool is that? A happy birthday and happy anniversary to all on this January the 12th. That's where you can send them into birthdays at koamtv.com. You can also go to our website at koamnewsnow.com. Now, here's Tanya Bach with a very important birthday announcement.
That's right. You can be a part of the KOAM Birthday Club by going to our website and signing up. And once you do, you'll get special deals. Go to koamnewsnow.com and sign up for the KOAM Birthday Club today.
There's a look at what's coming up on the KOAM Morning News when we flip on over to Fox 14. A heartwarming story. Families who were affected by December's tornadoes received free cars that were donated to them. In order to help them get back on their feet, we're going to explain exactly where this donation came from and the effect that it's having on their lives through this time of recovery for them. Once again, that's going to be the KOAM Morning News when we flip on over to Fox 14. Live look outside of Television City, kind of a neat little sight right there. Sunrise officially over the 4 states at 7:31 on this Wednesday morning, and there we are over 7th and Rangeline. Starting to see the traffic increase just a little bit. 44 degrees is where we stand. That humidity already dropping down to 47%. Our temperatures have been wild this morning, and that we've got a 20-degree range. On the left-hand side, we've got Neodesha sitting at 24, and then in the middle, we've got Joplin at 44. And then just down on 44, I-44 I mean, we've got Monette at 35. So like I said, we're just all over the map. Wind tracker pushing the hardest of the winds off to our east right now. Not going to be as blustery as what it was yesterday as it moves in from the south-southwest. Still do have a little bit of a wind chill effect though, feeling mainly like low to high 20s. We've got to see a wind chill number actually get to 30 degrees. Once again, it's going to be very, very dry. Those humidity readings, we're going to see those just bottom out there. And it has resulted in some warmer temperatures though, coming off of delightful 57 degrees yesterday. We're 11 degrees warmer this morning than what we were on a Tuesday. And so let's go back up into the 50s with a little increasing cloud cover for this afternoon. Still going to be on the dry side, however. Really the only action that we see is in the Pacific Northwest. That's a waterlogged Pacific Northwest at that. We get 50s for Wednesday and Thursday. Now, cold front drops in Friday night, brings us rain. We even see a little bit of snow in the northern portion of the 4 states for Saturday morning. Going to be too warm for it to stick around, however, with as great as our ground is going to be with these 3 consecutive days in the 50s. We'll be back with more KOAM Morning News right after this.
Hi, I'm Scott.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Police in Parsons, Kansas say another dog has been killed, the city's 3rd in less than a year. Officers say this dog named Draco was found on December 29th wrapped in a blanket by a small bridge near Felix and 7th Streets. The veterinarian who examined Draco says there was severe trauma to the dog's abdomen and around the neck from a choke chain that was on it, indicating that a human did it. This is the 3rd dog in Parsons to be killed and the 4th to be attacked. Police say a dog named Blue was shot and killed, and then another named Zeus was shot but survived. And then on December 3rd, the dog of a Parsons police officer ranger was found brutally killed. $34,000 reward is being offered in that case. However, authorities say no leads have come of it, which makes them think it's the work of a lone suspect. Parsons police are encouraging all dog owners in the city to keep an eye on their pets while they are outside. Joplin police released new details in the shooting death of a teenager. Todd Mays is in custody, charged with the first-degree murder of his 17-year-old daughter. Jasper County coroner says the victim's name is Prayer Nicholson. However, friends and family knew her as Prayer Waddell. The shooting happened at a home on South Connor in Joplin. A police report indicates the suspect and victim got into a verbal argument on the upper floor, but the girl threw a glass bottle at Mays. They say Mays went downstairs, got a handgun, then confronted his daughter on the staircase and shot her once in the abdomen. She died at the hospital. The Kansas Technology Center at Pitt State is known for training some of the best automotive tech students in the world. Every 2 years, the top members of the field take part in the World Skills Automotive Technology Competition. It's a global competition with more than 60 content areas. Several people who've trained at Pitt State have competed. This year's competition in Shanghai, China will feature another PSU student, Ian Greger. And at a council meeting Tuesday night, the city of Carthage recognized some local heroes who helped save the life of a Jasper County deputy. Chris Corbett suffered a heart attack in November. Last night, some co-workers at the Jasper County Sheriff's Office, emergency dispatchers, the Carthage Fire Department, and Mercy McCune Brooks EMTs were honored for recognizing and responding to Corbett's symptoms. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
Back into the mid-50s later on this afternoon. Sunshine early, increasing clouds as we work through our Wednesday. Overnight, should be able to avoid widespread freezing points, and then back to the 50s for Thursday. Remember, Friday night, cold front drops in on us, going to bring us rain for Friday night into Saturday morning. We'll even see some of that flip over to some snow. Ground should be warm enough to make sure that we don't have to worry about travel conditions, and accumulation, what we do see, should melt rather quickly.
Well, coming up today at noon, we're making healthy slow cooker comfort soup in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
First on CBS Mornings, Anna Werner talks with the widow of the former chief scientist at Theranos, who died by suicide in 2013 after raising doubts about the company. We'll hear how she felt about Elizabeth Holmes after her conviction of fraud.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. And this morning, a 5th victim was tied to the shopping cart killer. And a woman whose mother was a victim remembers her mom.
Also, we're going to talk about the history of the Scream movie franchise. And remember, we've got that great story about cars being donated to those who are recovering and rebuilding after the December tornadoes that tore through the Midwest.
And it's Wildcat Wednesday.
Bingo. All right. That wraps it up for this edition. Want you to have a great, safe Wednesday. Be safe. We'll do this all again tomorrow morning.
And we'll do it again today at noon.